Hey guys, welcome back to 1700 Home Edition, here to share with you all the latest happenings in the local music scene and so much more. I am your host Demi.
And I'm your host Saskia, but before we begin, 1700 acknowledges and pays respect to the owners of the land that the Media Collective and studio stand, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations.
1700 also acknowledges and pays respect to the elders and traditional owners of the lands our content reaches, as well as the radio and television stations which we broadcast from across the country.
Now, we've got a huge show planned for you today. Demi, what have we got on for today?
We have a very exciting show coming up. We have our 1700 news along with our clip of the week and an exclusive sneak peek of when our friends Nick and Vic interviewed Creature Fear.
Welcome to News with 1700, flash into what's been happening in the world of music from our backyards to across the world.
Now, no matter where you are in the world, the coronavirus pandemic has changed a lot of the way we do things, and over the past week in particular, restrictions have eased for most of Australia, except for Victoria due to their rise in the second wave of cases.
This includes eased restrictions at pubs, bars, and nightclubs, which we'll discuss a little bit now. So, Demi, what is kind of going on in some of the other states at the moment with their eased restrictions?
One that I came about was South Australia. They did open up a lot of pubs, clubs, and most recently nightclubs. They've been open for a little bit, but the nightclubs in particular were basically allowed to open and function more as bars. But then obviously some venues had live music and gigs and people kind of came together. You'd like to think socially distant, but really it wasn't as clear as day. It was very confusing for a lot of businesses and participants, but pretty much the advice after a weekend of being open, they were like, all right, you can stay open but no dancing. But it's a nightclub. How?
I mean, can you imagine sitting down to psytrance? Or something like that, where you're meant to be dancing and you're just sitting there
just doing nothing, maybe having a drink or just, it was a little bit confusing, but since then, I think they've gone around it in a way where it's like, unless you've got everything approved in like a COVID management plan or kind of big COVID sort of thing. But
COVID safe plan or something.
Yeah, but unless you don't have that approval, it's just like, is it worth opening? But with eased restrictions, particularly there and everywhere else, it's like slowly you can adapt into eventually the norm of the way it used to be.
Yeah, well, it's the same with Queensland as well. But they've also got they're allowing up to 100 people at homes now, which is good. So I guess you could have little gigs at someone's house, which would be quite cool.
So you can definitely do more of a bigger, house parties people can be doing to a certain number, but then Queensland, you could definitely do a proper house party or a gig at someone's house, which I've definitely seen before.
Yeah, I know. I'm so jealous though, because here we are, me and you, stuck in Victoria. Yeah. Can't even see anyone. So yeah, not fun.
Yeah, at time of recording, we're in week 1 of the 6-week lockdown. So we'll need.
Oh God, don't remind me.
Oh, we just gotta have to hold it out and do as best as we can, and just hope as well that it will eventually get to the same point as everyone else. But where else?
Well, yeah. What I was gonna say is, I think how we kind of listen to live music is going to be very different now, because what's happened in New South Wales is, so the DMAs have just released their new album, The Glow, yesterday, July 10th, and they're performing a number of unplugged and intimate shows at Sydney's Factory Theatre. So it'll be like a very, very small venue, and I think it'll be socially distanced as well, but it's nothing like the big, like the huge shows that the DMAs are used to kind of playing. So it'll be quite interesting to see what goes on at those gigs.
Of course, yeah. Like it has that idea of exclusivity, which is really appealing, but making that, would that be the new normal at this point?
I think it's gonna have to be, but it's like, it means you're gonna have to like get tickets so fast for things, because like you can't have that many people.
Yeah, because there'll be enough demand that all these people want to go, but would they have the time to like make more exclusive tiny shows where you can only fit so many people? Like, would that be exhausting for the artists themselves, or is it just too much organized with all the parties involved? Like, it'll be interesting to see.
And do you increase the price as well? That's another question.
So many factors would need to get like considered before even locking things in place, because there was that driving thing that they tried and that didn't work out. Then everyone's just trying to figure out all these other ways, but that's part of this experience really, is trying to figure out how to work around it, because in the meantime, like the live streaming with socials and artists performing there has worked, but it'd be good to figure out other ways as restrictions ease, but staying connected, but alone and all that stuff.
Yeah, because there's nothing like being there with live music. Like, streaming is okay, but it's not the same thing, it's not the same vibe. So I'm curious to see how they kind of work around that, like in the coming months.
Yeah, but for now, I think that's all the time we've got for it, but we'll just have to wait and see. Now it's time for the clip of the week. What have we got for this week, Saskia?
It's a really cool clip this week. I'm very excited for you guys to see it. It is Lastlings, No Time. Lastlings, in case you don't know, are a brother and sister electronic pop duo from the Gold Coast. And this clip is really interesting because it's an animation about a man and a woman escaping an unknown entity together. So I'm assuming that the man and woman in it are Lastlings.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's very interesting, and they've said that basically what the song is about is it's about releasing yourself from negative thoughts and growing from our disappointments and failures. It's also about living life to its fullest potential, because as cliche as it might be, life really is short.
That's a really good message for them to like bring together and share in that video. And these guys are actually really good live as well, but it'd be good to see how they perform it live, but then this music video would obviously just bring it to us as well.
Yeah, it's done super well already, so I hope you guys enjoy. You're watching 1700.
You're with 1700 Home Edition with Saskia and Demi. Now, it is our absolute pleasure to share with you a sneak peek of one of our 1700 interviews.
Yes, our friends Nick and Vic caught up with Creature Fear.
I think we should get straight into it.
Straight from the eclectic and vibrant Melbourne-based band Creature Fear are Cam, Jackie and Jason. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Absolute pleasure. So great to have you in our virtual studio here today.
And someone wants it to sound like this, and someone wants it to sound like that, and we have to, there's definitely a lot of that.
And we can spend a month working on one song, really pushing it, and then all of a sudden another week just a new one comes and it's like clearly better because it just came together so easily. We're releasing our next single next month, the end of July, 31st of July. So that is exciting.
You guys have been watching 1700 Home Edition with your hosts Demi and Saskia.
Thank you everyone for continuing to watch our videos and showing that support on socials.
And with socials, feel free to check us out. We are 1700 TV on Instagram, 1700 on Facebook, and YouTube is also just 1700 TV.
Thanks again guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.